Hi, and welcome to Together Thursday, your call to courage. My name is Marney Babbitt-Pierce, and I graduated from Trinity in 2008. As a student at Trinity, I was a resident mentor, and I helped found the club tennis team. After Trinity, I worked in higher education and also in nonprofit management. And now I am a coach and certified Dare to Lead facilitator. I work with individuals and companies to build more courageous workplaces. Today, we are going to talk about courage. In her research, Brené Brown learned that courage is observable, measurable, and teachable. So let's dig in and see what courage could mean for you. So first, you might ask, am I a leader? Well, Brené's definition of a leader is that a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding potential in people and processes and who has the courage to develop that potential. So I think we can all be a leader. And if you're here today, you are a leader. You are looking for the potential in others and in yourself, and you want to help that develop. You're here today because you believe you can grow and learn, and because you believe others can grow and learn. You want to create an environment where growth and change are the norm. In 20 years of research, seeking to understand courageous leaders, Brené found three things that we call the heart of daring leadership. First, you can't get to courage without rumbling with vulnerability. Embrace the suck. Vulnerability is hard, it's tough, it's not fun, but it is important and it is the heart of daring leadership. Number two, self-awareness and self-love matter. Who we are is how we lead. And absolutely, who we are is how we lead. We don't get to be one person at home and a different person in the office. We don't get to have work values and home values. It's all the same. That's who we are. And finally, courage is contagious. And to scale daring leadership and build courageous teams and organizations, we have to create a culture in which brave work, tough conversations, and whole hearts are the expectation, and armor is not necessary or rewarded. People have to be able to have those difficult conversations, bring their whole selves to work, and be brave. So, what is vulnerability, you might be asking? For me personally, vulnerability is doing something new and scary that I know I need to do, but I can feel my stomach, it's up in my throat, and I kind of want to vomit, and I just don't want to do it because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I recently got my name on the ballot for town council here in Arizona, and I had to go knock on doors to get 80 signatures of registered voters so that I could get my name on the ballot. And it was scary knocking on those doors. You don't know what someone's going to say. You don't know if they're going to be registered to vote. You don't know if they're going to say no. You don't know if they are going to be asking you really tough questions that you can't answer. I haven't served on town council yet. I don't know why that decision was made. So that's what vulnerability is. And Brené's definition is uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. And we're talking about relational vulnerability here, the stuff that leads to a deeper connection. So not tapping out when a conversation gets sticky. And it's what builds trust and relationships. So trust does come from being vulnerable. It's not the other way around. You have to be vulnerable to have trust. And then finally, you can't be courageous without vulnerability. It's a requirement. So Dare to Lead, the book by Brené Brown, and then also a 24-hour certification workshop covers these four topics. Today, we are going to dive right into rumbling with vulnerability, but there are four skill sets. So rumbling with vulnerability is sticking your neck out to do something when it feels uncertain, risky, or that will be emotionally exposed. Living our values is about living with integrity. We all hold certain beliefs and values, They connect to our leadership, and based on them, how we make decisions and how we operationalize those and how our team operationalizes their values. Braving trust. So we alluded to this earlier, but trust is one of those things, you know it when you see it. But what this work does is break it down into actionable behaviors so that it's less about feeling and more about action. We know trust is built in the small moments, and these are the small moments you can use to build trust. And then finally, learning to rise, overcoming failure. If you're going to be brave, you're going to fall down. Part of being in the arena is learning how to practice kindness towards yourself, healing when things don't go your way, and getting ready to try again. We're here to talk about courage, but it's hard to be courageous in our world. We're not set up for it very well. And these are some of the barriers that Brene found in her work. I've seen each of these barriers in my teams during my career. They all make courage more difficult. People don't trust, or they feel like they need to be perfect. They can't have a conversation. They shut down because they don't feel included, or there's a shame and blame culture when failure happens. And in these environments, it takes too much effort to be courageous. So we have to build environments where you can be courageous. So that starts with you. Brene found the greatest challenge in developing brave leaders is not a lack of professional skills or knowledge. The greatest challenge is helping leaders recognize and answer their personal call to courage. For us, this means we have to identify where we want to be braver. We have to name our cave so that we can own our fears and concerns and take the power and mystery out of the cave. The final skill in building skills to walk into the arena, to try new behaviors, to experience falls and failures, to get back up and to try again. We must actually change the way we show up with other people in order to answer our call to courage. So what's your call to courage? Well, we're going to find out. I'm going to give you a couple of questions, and you are going to have the opportunity to answer them. So write it down, take a second if you want to pause the video, type it, write it, but really think about these questions. Dig deep so that you can really find that cave. You can get ready to enter it, and you can be courageous in your life. So, first question, what is your personal call to courage as a leader? Where do you want to be braver? Be so specific. So an example of this, I want to be braver at giving feedback. Next question, what's the cave you fear to enter and why? What's the topic that feels too hard to take on, even though you know confronting it head on is the key to change? An example would be, my cave is looking at the engagement problems in my organization. And finally, when you think about where you want to be braver and what gets in the way, what are some things you have or will face? And what are the skills and behaviors you'd like to change or develop as you do your courage work? So I can't give you an example. This is going to be super personalized to you, but be specific about the things you're going to face and how you're going to change. What do you need to be successful in entering that cave? So I hope that this presentation has been helpful for you to really discern what's holding you back from being the leader you want to be. If you'd like to learn more about the workshops or coaching, please visit my website at marneybp.com. Go Tigers!